Destroyed Nonchalance, taking culture apart one episode at a time. A social commentary podcast on pop culture, fashion, film, and music. Hello, welcome back to Destroyed Nonchalance. This week we're talking about fashion and fashion branding. But first, let's catch up on what our weeks have been like, because it's been a while since we've recorded.
It's been really busy, so there have been some deadlines. I'm sure you'll talk about yours.
Oh my God, yeah.
It's been really busy, and time has just, slipped quite a bit.
And it's understandable. It happens. I mean, it's the holiday season too. Everybody's busy with something this time of year.
Yeah, so I wanted to talk about some movies and some shows that we watched. Just some basics on that.
And we have to talk about Jamie. Are we going to talk about it now, or should we?
No, I think that we want to do just a short review.
Because we went to go see. Jamie. Yeah, we went to go see. Everybody's talking about Jamie, and which of course we loved, and Bianca
Del Rio and
Vinegar Strokes were on stage that night. I think they were returning to the show. Yeah. And that was exciting. But we'll go into that more in another episode. So let's talk about the TV and movies that we've been watching.
Well, we watched this really weird movie on Netflix that I didn't know what to think about. It's called I Lost My Body. And it's a French movie by Jérémy Clapin. And it was just an animated movie, I think.
Oh my God! It was so long ago. It seems like so long ago.
No, it does. But essentially, you start with the main character's hand's been cut off, and through the movie, you see the hand trying to make its way back to its body.
Now, see, like right away, this might sound like a horror movie, because I remember when I was a little kid, I saw a movie about, and it was on TV, about a hand that was crawling around. I think it was killing people.
Wasn't it Evil Dead? Or that's the one I remember. I don't know.
Yeah, so I don't know. But this is not like that at all. This is one of those movies when you just put something on Netflix, and it was quite by chance, and it had us like within the first 5 minutes. It's animated, so I mean, I like animation a lot, so that had it going for it. It was French, and
I just really like the concept, because you don't think about it's having a different look on something you've never thought about. And of course, if you think about it, whether you're left-handed or right-handed, you do so much with your hand, with your right hand for my case, and whether it's opening doors, eating chips, writing, expressing. I'm moving my hand right now, but I'm like, as you're talking, you express emotions.
So
and you
what's
move.
the general plot? Let's go over that, and then we can go into. So what's the movie? What's it about?
I don't know how deep we want to go into the movie, but it's this orphan, and as you see him as a child, and he records all sounds, and he grows up in a very sad situation, basically because his parents died in a car crash that maybe he caused, or he thinks he did. And so you see all of these flashbacks through as the hand is making its way back to his body. So you get to see the hand remembering, oh, this is that scene, or this. You see the memories through the hand's view, I guess.
Yeah, and it's really interesting because it's like a little kid. I mean, so much of his early life is framed from a childish type perspective, and then the hand is almost. I mean, of course, it has accompanied him throughout these experiences that he's retelling and is reliving that we get to see, but seeing it like specifically from the hand's point of view, that do we know why it's been severed, why it's detached early on?
No.
Okay.
You just see the blood.
Yeah, and it sounds gory, and it's really not. I mean, it has its moments, but that framing of the story, the narrative from the point of view of the hand, it was really, I mean, it's just interesting. Like, just that connection that parts of your body have gone through with you.
It's the memory. And you think about phantom limbs and how people feel them. when they're gone still, and
it was really unusual. It's a really unusual film, but we're fans of that.
Yeah, big fan, and it was
so glad that we gave it a chance. What was the director's name?
Jérémy Clapin.
Okay.
I don't know. I think we just chose it because it had a festival. It had been chosen for
it was an official selection for something.
Yeah, so that was okay. We don't know what this is. Let's just watch it. We're like sick of trying to think what are we gonna watch. So we gave it a shot, and it was really good, and I liked it. So I wanted to mention it. We've also been watching Dolly Parton's Heartstrings on Netflix, and essentially, what is it like?
It's stories built out of some of her most well-known songs. Or, I mean, they're stories from her songs. I don't know if they're always her most well-known.
That was the surprising thing to me, is that the only one I know is Jolene. I don't know any of the other songs.
And they're pretty dark. Some of them are really dark. And some of the stories are really complicated. I mean, like complex, emotionally complex. And it's a whole cast of characters. It's a big mix of characters.
Yeah, I was very surprised because just upon seeing it, I thought, it's going to be one of those Hallmark kind of cheesy.
It does come across like that early on.
Yeah, the stories don't really amount to anything, but let's just give it a shot. It's Dolly. We like Dolly. And it was surprising how they go there every time. They go to some dark places and some real human stuff. The only ones we've watched.
It is kind of dramatic too. It does have like a Hallmark kind of feel to it.
A little soap opera.
But I mean, so does Dolly. But everybody loves Dolly for a reason, and that's because she mixes that sentimentality and just like the genuine sweetness that and it's part of her personality.
Combining that part of Dolly with the darkness of death, or the coming out, or just the way some people are treated by society. Like, think twice before you treat somebody this way, or think twice before you think somebody's not going through something kind of dark, or whatever it is. It's combining some dark topics,
and a lot of her songs are a lot darker than I realized. I mean, some of her, like her back catalog, I don't really know that well, but because she's performing in a lot of these episodes, but her song plays through it, little snippets of the song. It's not a music video or anything like that by any means, but you do like hear a part of the song and the lyrics and how it corresponds to the plot and the characters and the general flow of the story. And some of it's really dark, and I had no idea that Dolly could be like that. But
yeah, so that's good. We recommend it. We haven't finished it. It's going well, but we also did watch Charlie's Angels. I don't know if you want to say anything about that movie. You didn't like it.
No, I liked it, but to me, it felt pretty small time compared to the hyperblown visuals of the Drew Barrymore, Cameron Diaz, Lucy Liu, Charlie's Angels, and the fresh faces didn't so much bother me. That's what I heard, that there wasn't enough star power to get audiences interested. To me, it felt like it was harking back to the television series, the original one. And I thought this could have made a great like Netflix series, like a limited run Netflix series. And that way you got a chance to know these characters a little bit more, and you had more of a reason to get invested in them.
Yeah, I think I liked it for the most part, but the ability for me to get invested in some of the characters they were touting to, have all this experience behind them, I just didn't see the experience. I didn't really believe it in some of the characters that, they'd been to the MI6 and had a career there and had it crash down and are now recruited to this.
They seemed a little too fresh.
Yeah, they didn't seem like enough lived experience. And I'm not saying you have to like have hard lines in your face or anything. Like you have somebody like Sydney Bristow in Alias.
Right. And see, it was thinking along the lines of Alias or a show like that made me think, well, this Charlie's Angels could have been a Netflix series, and all of the weaknesses that it had going against it would have actually been a strength over the long run.
Yeah, I mean, I liked a lot of it. A lot of the action it delivered, I liked. I liked some of the storylines. I liked the fashion and some of the places that they went and had access to.
I just wasn't impressed with any of the cinematography. And I felt like they were throwing a lot at Kristen Stewart to juggle. Like, she had to be the comedy. She had to be like the big star. She had to be the... Does that mean, I mean,
yeah.
And she's talented. She's a lot more talented than I thought, you know, coming out of those vampire movies. But she had to carry a lot for this film. So.
Yeah. So we're halfway on it. I wanted to see it because I like Charlie's Angels. I like the old ones. I've never seen the TV show, and it was kind of half and half. Some of it, I wanted to like it. I liked a lot of the messages that it was talking about, and you know, it's that. Then Thanksgiving happened, and that was interesting because we got food poisoning. So not happy. Actually,
it was it was food poisoning. It was deadlines for academic stuff and getting ready for for my last supervision meeting of the year, and how we're going to wrap it up and what I'm going to do over this Christmas break that lasts several weeks. And so
it was a lot of build up to that, and to now, like, what have you been up to?
What have I been up to? It's been a lot of sitting and a lot of reading, not nearly enough writing, getting that together in terms of something that I could present to Jane, my supervisor. And I mean, it went well, and it always does go pretty well. And I felt a big sense of pressure going into the meeting, and always this worry that I haven't done enough and I haven't read enough. And it's like just to have a conversation with her, and then she helps focus me on what goals I should be pursuing next. So that's been that. And it's just been all consuming.
Really heavy. It's been all consuming, including for me, because, you know, I mean, anybody who's been in a marriage that has a lot of dependency on each other, I have to just be there and find what I'm gonna do, and I have my projects that I'm also working on.
We should talk about these projects.
Well, no, I mean, one of the projects is the relevant queer research, and we wanted to introduce it or talk about it.
Yeah, we do.
Bit more.
And so we can talk about it a bit here, like right now. So the relevant queer, and I was coming across articles and mentions of people from the past, or even from watching Tales of the City and hearing the story about the cafe that predated, the riot there that predated the Stonewall stories, and not realizing we didn't know anything about that. And there are lots of there's just so many innumerable stories and people and places that we just don't know about that have led to where we are now
in queer history.
Or like hidden connections between mainstream culture and queer culture. Contributions made by people who were unseen, or parts of their lives were forced into hiding. And I mean, there's no separating you from, the kind of life that you live and the contributions that you make to your wider culture. But that kind of severing that happens when something is, historically unacceptable as like queerness and being gay. And so we've been juggling we've been considering how to bring these stories
because
awareness.
They're important to know, but also in today's culture, the way that today people consume things, how do you make it be as rich as it is, but as consumable as it needs to be for somebody who's just scrolling past? Or
it's that soundbite challenge, except it's the Instagram challenge where you have a picture and a caption. You have like 5 seconds.
Yeah, and just, I mean, it's a little bit more visibility. Just, I think everybody that can shine a light into their culture's background or people that are important to their culture, they should do it. And I don't know a lot about these stories. I don't know a lot about these people. And it's so interesting to do what it is we're doing. And we've seen it done with, I mean, you have Hillary Clinton going about and releasing the Gutsy Women book, where they literally, they do what we're doing except in a book. They're doing essays. Well, they're doing a lot more than we're doing, but essays on these historical figures that are kind of getting forgotten and maybe were never really known to begin with. It's just the importance of their lives.
There's so much competition for media, and there's so much noise and just so much around that these vulnerable stories about gutsy women or, you know, queers who have made contributions to culture can easily get drowned out by just such stupid crap that just echoes back and forth, because it takes a bit of work to go through and find these people. It takes a bit of work to dig up their stories and then make it a story that's relevant to today's audience who isn't necessarily even looking for it. They may not even understand why they should even be paying attention to it. But that's the challenge, like digging it up and then putting it back out there so it at least has a presence, and all the competition for attention that there is in the media world right now.
Yeah, and I'm finding that I've been researching it seems like for years for school, and, you know, you research papers and everything that you need to do.
Right.
And I get lost in researching these people, and suddenly I'm reading private letters, private correspondence, because the amount of stuff that is out there, if you look, it's crazy. And I mean, that's just, I'm not looking as deep as I could if I had, you know, budget to travel and to like pay for some documents.
Someday, you never know. Like, I mean, that's the goal.
One of the goals, really anyway. Surface. So all of this could be books. It could be just the visibility alone. There are people that have done things that are similar to this.
And yeah, to be sure, there are books about the things that we're talking about. But yeah, if you don't know it's there, you don't know to look for it.
And you don't know, not even that, but you're not going to go consume a whole book on one person. Maybe seeing a quote that this person has might pique your interest into finding out a little bit more on who they are. And then you have 2 or 3 paragraphs on, you know, a summary on who they are and what they did and why you should be more interested in going to look into these people and to seeing their art or their plays or their music, any of that. So
we recently did one on Aaron Copland, and just learning about him, and I had studied him in high school. He came up for a project, and so I knew what his music was, but I didn't understand it from this frame of reference. So when we were both reading about Aaron Copland, that's what we were listening to, at least for like a while we were like just going about our lives. Like Aaron Copland's music came back into our daily existence because of this.
Yeah, and we're really working with each other to get the final thing. So I'm digging up a lot of information and raw information, and Troy's writing it up, and you know,
and then I like to research finer points.
Yeah, add to it if it seems like it's missing something.
I'm kind of envious that I don't get to go as in depth.
No, you shouldn't be, because it's so crazy. Aaron Copland alone, I didn't know who he was, and 4 people, and a bunch more could have come out of, you know, looking at him, because he's so interrelated with so many artists and so many queer artists of the time that on their own have a full right to have their stories told. And it can get so deep, and who is this person that Aaron Copland was, talking about or hanging out with or having relationships with? And you find out that they're so important in this other side of art. And
well, today, like Leonard Bernstein was one of those people, and today is the day that the West Side Story premiered in the West End here in London. And Leonard Bernstein composed the music for it. And, that's like a network right there. There's a cultural connection.
And I didn't know about these people. More cultured, the more cultured that I should be, or I should know more about these people. You knew about both of these guys. Yeah. And I mean,
but I didn't know about that kind of connection between them though.
No. And I know about the West Side Story, but I didn't know he composed it. And
well, just looking into it today though, I didn't realize that West Side Story bridged the gap between musical theater and opera. The opera people like West Side Story, and musical theater people like West Side Story. And I mean, okay, I'm not huge into either one of those, but I know what the West Side Story sounds like. I like the story more, just more than the music. And
I don't know the music that much, but I did read about how there's a lot of sensibilities that, like feminine sensibilities that were given to the male characters in it.
Oh, see, I didn't...
to kind of open things that hadn't been explored before.
I didn't know that.
And I mean, it's so deep and it's so interesting. And the day where I was looking at Aaron Copland I don't even know why, I came across the name and I said, oh, who's Aaron Copland? And Troy knew who it was, so I went in and spent the whole day looking at all these people. And then we decided each of these people has to have their own day, or, down the road.
Yeah, connecting it to a specific day really made sense. Making it your way through like a type of calendar, because how else are you going to do it? I mean, when you have Instagram posts to work with,
and there's endless days and endless things that have happened every day, and I think the more time once you have more time, because I love the chase, I love finding the credit for the picture.
Yeah,
I have to have a good quality picture, so I just dig and dig and dig until I find, and then who shot this picture, and what are some of these quotes that these people had, and what are certain basic summary things that need to be taken out of this giant book so that, we can have 4 paragraphs to say about them. And so it can be really time consuming, but it's so, if I could just do that all day, I would. And that's weird to me because I did not think that.
Oh, that's new for you're surprised? You've surprised yourself?
I've been researching, like I said, for years, and building more on that and continuing to, I guess, just researching something that you might be interested in, or
opening yourself up to the possibility. I mean, just allowing yourself to have a curiosity, right? I mean,
yeah, and you can, like I said, you can find so much, and on some of them you can't, so you have to really dig. And I'm just like a dog with a bone. I have to find something on these people. I have to find a good version of this image, all of it. So
right,
it's been really time consuming, and that's what I'm doing when Troy's there forever. And it gets really tiring because we don't get a chance to go and do something fun, and it's been really hard to get the Christmas spirit kicked in, and it started feeling like, crap, we need a tree, it's already December, it's gonna get too late, and all of this.
It has really creeped up on us.
Our tree didn't have a base, and it was like falling over, but it's been interesting, but I've just kind of, you have to dig out of that a little bit and say, okay, no, we're not gonna do a sad Christmas thing, and we're gonna make it happen, and we're gonna make it work. So that's basically what we're doing. And
that's what we're doing. And I knew after my meeting with Jane that the Christmas time would start kicking in. And I mean, hello, we live on Oxford Street, so it's really hard. You're not going to escape this feeling of being surrounded by Christmas shopping and like
you have to get the feeling inside though.
Because otherwise it's just, oh, there are so many people around you that you're not getting cell phone service. Oh, there's so many people using water that your water pressure is going to drop. I mean, it's just congestion, and if you have to stay removed from that, you only get the downsides of it.
Yeah.
And we'll run an errand at night and it'll be dark at like 4:30 and it's like, oh, there are Christmas lights up. And it's kind of nice. So we're shifting more into that mood.
We're shifting, and we made some time to travel a little bit.
He's not telling me anything about it.
It's a surprise, and it should be fun and interesting, and we'll let you guys know about that later too.
Speaking of later, we're seeing Ian McKellen tonight in the West End.
We won tickets for...
It's a 3-hour one-man show.
I know.
And
we're kind of on the fence.
It's a contribution to charity. And I've heard that he even stands outside in the foyer and collects extra money for charity as you head out.
He's a legend. He's been on so many things that we've seen, and we didn't specifically go and say, oh, we're going to spend, a ton of money to see him. I just submitted for the lottery today and we got it. And so I know it's going to be good, and he's going to be good, and we like him. So. And
that's in a couple of hours.
Yeah. So.
Okay. So there's that. We've touched a bit on the Christmas. Are there any more, shows or movies that you wanted to bring up? Because I'm telling you, my head has been so much in the research that I forget that we've even watched these things.
Yeah, I think there will be, and there are some of the things that I may have forgotten, and I'll just make sure, because there are some shows that we want to talk about on their own, as their own podcast, like Forever.
Oh,
which is amazing.
Yeah, we liked Forever a lot.
With Maya Rudolph and Fred Armisen, and you should go watch it, and yeah.
And it's easy to digest. It's easy to consume because it's little 30-minute chunks. And it's been canceled. It's not been renewed for a second season. But I don't think it ends in a bad place. I think they did a pretty good job of wrapping up this one season they had the chance to do. So we recommend it, but we can talk about it more later. Should we get into fashion branding then?
Yes, we can do that.